Crypto OGs.
Welcome to Crypto OGs. This is a podcast on the making for the last 2 years. We have today Mr. Danosch, the CEO of The Block. Welcome to the show. Second episode with you.
Thank you so much, Andres. It's great to be back.
So for people don't know who is Danosch, obviously he's going to introduce himself, but great friend of mine. We met about 3 years ago through a Colombian fellow. You went to Colombia, you did a trip with a group of crypto people. It's called Arts DAO. That was before.
Absolutely, yeah.
So let's go a little bit back. Let's start before I start to explain about what is the block, who are you helping, and what is happening right now in the UAE. Let's start with Danosch. Who is Danosch? How you start in crypto? Let's start with the first time that you knew about Bitcoin. Then I remember you have a podcast called The Shakes or something like that.
The Crypto Shakes.
The Crypto Shakes. And then obviously ArtsDAO, trips, and now fast forward, you are building one of the best ecosystems for Web3 in the UAE.
I would say in the world.
In the world, yes. Okay, yes, I like that. So let's start with your story.
All right, so I was born and raised in Sweden, lived all around the world, came to Dubai around 9 years ago. That was always a dream for me to come to this region. You know, Dubai reminds me a little bit about my native country, which is Iran. But I grew up in Sweden. I never lived in Iran. But for me, this was kind of a good bridge in between both worlds. So I moved here in 2016. It was around the same time I got into crypto.
Okay.
Back in 2013, I actually wanted to go all into crypto. I had sold my house, put everything into gold because I thought gold was going to skyrocket. It was the only asset class that wasn't moving. And eventually I discovered Bitcoin as a alternative to the financial systems. Back in 2013, I think the price of Bitcoin was around $100. So I was looking at this. I thought it was really an interesting technology. And I told my ex-wife back then, I was like, look, I want to sell all of the gold, put it all into Bitcoin. And obviously I'd already done some stupid investment decisions.
Yes.
So she wasn't really sure of this, crazy bet on something called Bitcoin, and neither was I. So I kind of talked myself out of it. And eventually I saw that train just, go. And eventually in 2016, I was like, okay, enough is enough. I need to get in. So I started dipping my toes into it, started investing some money. And like everyone else, did good money, lost a lot of money, and learned a lot of lessons. And then in 2021, me and another guy called Anas, we decided to start something called the Crypto Shakes podcast.
Okay.
So it was I think the first Web3 podcast out here in the UAE.
Wow.
And back then, crypto was really hot, but no one was talking about it. And we wanted to educate our friends and family and people coming to us for advice, because by no means were we any experts, but at least we knew that if we try to break down the concepts of crypto to people, to everyday people, they can start to learn about it themselves and make informed decisions. So that was the whole idea. And as we were doing that, we discovered NFTs. And this was back in the NFT craze in 2021 when the Bored Ape Yacht Club just skyrocketed. And we thought, wow, this is quite cool, to be able to put now for the first time art on the blockchain and store it on the blockchain. And to have these unique properties where you become a unique owner of an art piece and you have royalties and you can track the provenance, you can track who has owned the artwork before you. For the first time, this was now enabled by the blockchain. So as we started to discover this, we thought, okay, well, it seems like artists, the traditional artists, are going to become future businesses by launching their own NFT collections. So we thought, okay, why don't we act as the intermediary? So we help these artists get into Web3. We train them, we educate them, we launch their projects. So we wanted to become like a Goldman Sachs of NFTs. That was how the whole idea behind ArtsDAO. And as we were exploring this, we met with other like-minded people. We organized smaller meetups. And from those initial meetups, we realized that, wow, there's actually, the first meetup was 10 people. And we thought, wow, there's actually quite a lot of people in Dubai that are interested in NFTs. And we thought we had met every single person, all those 10. 2 weeks later, we were 30, and then it just snowballed and turned into the largest Web3 community in Dubai. And that became the full-time job for ArtsDAO.
Yeah. And I remember you had the ArtsDAO Fest 2 years ago as well. How many people were there?
Yeah, so we had around 3,000 people on the
Wow.
first one. And, for us, we saw that there was a lot of cool events happening in the US and elsewhere, where people were tapping into this subculture of crypto, which was the whole meme culture, internet culture, gaming culture. And they were doing it really well in other places, but no one had done it in the UAE. So we were
Okay.
like, why don't we do something like that?
So I remember also, it wasn't only about NFTs. You had also quite good sponsor like Ledger. You have serious companies also
Yeah.
in the ArtsDAO Fest.
Yeah, we had guys like Ledger, and the second one we also had, Polkadot, Linnea. We had Yuga Labs, which is the biggest
Yes.
brand in internet culture. We had BMW, we had eToro. So we had also Web2 brands,
Insane.
which was great to see that they're now entering into the Web3 space. And we had speakers from Animoca, from Binance, from all the big players.
So just to put in context, this is what you did for the last, let's say, 3 to 4 years. Obviously, it was more orientated to community build, to artists, to NFT, let's call it like that, to crypto enthusiasts, probably like retail, people like the auntie, the cousin, the friend. So it was more like community driven, but for, let's say, an entry level. And now let's go fast forward. Then you became the CEO of the block.
Yeah.
And I remember when we were talking about, I said, okay, this is probably the what you've been building and working for the last 3, 4, 5 years. Now everything's put in combined, but now we're going to a different level, more institutional, more serious, more governmental. So let's start with that. There is a lot of, let's say, launchpad, incubators, VC clubs, alpha groups. But what makes the block fundamentally different? Like, what should a founder, an investor, a builder, a serious person care about the block?
Look, that's a great question. When we decided to start the block, it wasn't just, it came quite organically. It happened with our founder, Farbot, coming to Dubai to register his own license with VARA. He did it in record time. They were really impressed by how they had submitted the license.
Yeah.
And they were asking, can we use this as a template for other businesses? And then, because VARA is the virtual asset regulatory body of the UAE, and above them sits Dubai World Trade Center, which is the free zone which houses them. And that opened up a conversation with DWTC, where they were like, guys, obviously, if you look at the landscape in the UAE, in Ras Al Khaimah you have RACDAO.
Yeah.
In Abu Dhabi you have Hub 71 and
Okay.
ADGM, and they built a good ecosystem there. You have DMCC in Dubai and JLT. You have a lot of these ecosystems, but VARA, which was the main regulatory body, and DWTC had been lagging behind, so they were in need to create something like this. So when we met with them, we were like, guys, there is a big gap here, because once people get licensed with you, or even if they're not licensed with you, it's difficult to find the right connections in the UAE. It's difficult to find everything under one roof.
Yes.
It's difficult to find funding, access to government connections, access to other players, matchmaking services, banking services, legal services, everything in one roof. Or if you want to do events, none of these other venues that I talked about offer like an experience center where you can come and really like launch a project or do something cool. So the whole idea with the block was, how do we create like a mini version of Wall Street, but for Web3? UAE is growing as the capital of crypto in the world and virtual assets. How do we become the headquarter of the capital?
Okay, so I will ask you something that came to my mind just now regarding Wall Street. But before that, let's make it super clear for the audience. What exactly is the block? What do you guys offer that most people in crypto Web3 blockchain don't even think about?
So when someone comes and wants to build their business here in this country, they need to understand, how can I grow my business as fast as possible? And it doesn't matter if you're a big exchange like Binance, or you're a chain like Solana and Avalanche, or you're a startup. Everyone needs to grow.
Yes.
Everyone constantly needs to grow. So what we are essentially, just to make it very simple, we are a growth partner.
Okay.
We call ourselves the International Chamber for Virtual Assets
Okay.
because we have satellite offices in different countries, and we act a little bit like a chamber where we connect people with each other, and we connect them with government, and we connect them with funding. But essentially, we are a growth partner. At the end of the day, our job is, when you become a member, to look at your business, if you're a startup, to say, okay, how can I make your startup grow? How can I bring more funding to your startup? How can I bring more connections? How can I give you access to cool projects? Or if you're a mid-sized to big company, how can I help you tap into the $9 billion of tokenization projects that we currently have,
Okay.
and help you tokenize some of them? So we always have different kind of playbooks for different members.
Okay. So let's put in perspective. The block is helping not only with the regulatory frame, also with the, let's say, with the structure for finance, funding, also, let's say, for let's call immigration, visas and stuff for employees here in the UAE, and also connecting with other cities, countries that are part of the framework of this conglomerate of digital virtual assets. But something that it came to my mind as you just said about Wall Street. So people don't know this. Well, people that live here, but there is one central, right? One central is some building near to the World Trade Center, where all the biggest exchanges are. So they have Binance, OKX, Bybit, and these offices are like they're the core of the business here in Dubai. Though obviously they have in Abu Dhabi, but it became, as you say, the World Trade Center of crypto in Dubai. So what's going to happen with the block? Because I imagine just the block physically is going to be there as well. And then at one point, everybody has to go for meeting there. Like in the 90s, everybody went to the World Trade Center or to, in New York to meet up with all the brokers and trader companies. So they're going to be the same. You visualize it like that as well?
Look, we were, sometimes you have to be lucky as well, right?
Okay, yes.
And we were quite lucky.
I work hard to being lucky.
A month after we signed the contract, we found out that the whole place, One Central, is getting an alcohol license.
Wow.
There's going to be a lot of F&B venues opening up there. They are kind of seeing that the IFC, which is the main hub for traditional finance businesses, has really succeeded in attracting that wealth. Crypto, being the next frontier of the economy, doesn't have a home yet. Now One Central and Dubai World Trade Center is cementing the position as that home. We already have guys like Binance, OKX, Fireblocks, all the big exchanges, all the big players already there. Central. So what we're creating is think of it as a private club for businesses in the Web3 space that can come to the space. There's a cafe, there's a podcast studio, there's a big auditorium. There's a lot of cool things happening there. We're opening up really nice co-working spaces, which is, think of it as a premium WeWork. So all of these things enables people to connect. So when they come to us, it's not just the services that we provide, but it's also the value of the network that they are tapping into at the block and the network that we will bring through our connections.
Okay. So you say we were talking about Wall Street. It's a wall, but now we're talking about One Central. I like the names. One Central, it was given by Dubai, but now the block. So you have something centralized, but with the block to help the community.
We call it One Decentral.
One Decentral. Now, talking about something that is more serious. Obviously, companies that get here to Dubai or to the UAE, they go through different hurdles and they go through different challenges. So people come here and then they have to get first the business, right? And sometimes the companies, the setups, they set it up under a license that doesn't match what they need. Or sometimes they come here and they start the process and then the visa structure doesn't work for the employees. Or sometimes they come here and they have everything ready, but because the license, they can open a bank account. But on top of that, a lot of companies come here and they also get scammed by people, trying to get the license or trying to get them banks. And let's be honest, there is good actors and bad actors in everywhere. So, and on top of that, Web3 is chaotic. So there is hype, scams, noise everywhere. So now you step at the block as CEO. So it's serious. It's a serious structural vision in a crazy industry, as I say, here and people around the world. What made you say yes to the mission? What pulled you in to make it like legit?
So that's a great question. Look, around September last year, I received a phone call from a friend called Mazdak Rafati. Mazdak had been to some crypto conference in Geneva, I believe, where he met with a guy called Farbod Sadeghian. They had a conversation. Farbod mentioned that he's considering and exploring opening up something Web3 related in the UAE. And Mazdak, obviously because of the experience that I had with ArtsDAO, I had built a lot of connections here in the region. So he's like, look, if there's one person you need to speak to, it's Danosch. And that's how we got connected. And then we had a lot of back and forth conversations. We met in Istanbul. We eventually decided that, okay, I was excited about this project because I felt like, okay, now for the first time, Dubai is getting something and the UAE is getting something that it has been lacking. A more refined, structured community ecosystem hub for crypto companies to really come together and get value out of it.
Okay.
And with ArtsDAO, it was, as you said, very much B2C. As we now kind of, the whole space is evolving. There's a lot of assets being tokenized. There's a lot of there's a lot of payment providers changing and using stable coins to do the onboarding, on-ramping, off-ramping, all these things, and to settle global remittances. So the whole financial system and asset world is moving towards Web3. That's the big potential for us.
Okay.
It's a massive potential. And we, being located where we are, kind of sit at a very interesting position in an interesting time in history right now.
Now, let me dig a little bit further. You call the blog the International Chamber of Virtual Assets. That sounds big, right? But how does that work in practice? Like, what happens inside the blog every day?
So the reason why we call ourselves the International Chamber of Virtual Assets is because we're not just an ecosystem. We are truly a chamber. So what is a chamber? A chamber has access to locations outside of the country. So we're connected to 15 other locations. We're connected to other chambers of commerce around the world. So when companies are looking to move to the UAE, we can support them with that. Or vice versa. If someone is looking to, let's say, set up their business in the US, well, we're very closely connected with the American chambers of commerce. So that's the chamber part. And once someone enter into the chamber, they can get help with, I would say we're even better than a traditional chamber because we all come from a business background. We're not just a government entity. We really understand business on a granular level. Every single person in the team, at least in the leadership team, are entrepreneurs. So everyone has built a business of their own and has connections that extends beyond just Web3. We have very strong connections in the traditional finance sector, in London, in New York, in Asia. And we're now bringing all of that and enabling our members to access that, which is, if I would have put a number on the price of our network, it would be in the value of it would be in the millions. But obviously I cannot charge someone $1 billion.
Yes. Water. Let's drink water, man. Because it's too hot, right?
I'm okay.
I have another question. This is very good for the content. When people, because we're going to cut all of this and we're going to push it. It's good for call to action. That's the water air condition. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you for the explanation about the chambers. But now let's talk about from the other side. If I am a startup founder and I'm building Web3, and I knock your door tomorrow, I go to the blog and say, what do I walk away with? I walk away with capital, legal help, credibility, community. What's the real value?
You walk away with a big bag of cash. No, so if you come to the block, Look, if you're looking to get licensed in the UAE, you will eventually walk away with your license. Whether it's with VARA, whether it's with ADGM, RAC, DMCC, we can support you with that. In fact, we do it really well. So we just helped a company recently, a custodian, to get their in-principle approval from VARA.
Wow.
Usually it takes 3 to 6 months, and we got it in less than a month. And they were blown away. They thought it was a scam. They had to call us up and ask if it's actually true. So on the licensing part, we have a very strong compliance team that really understands and knows how to submit these things. We have the funding side. So if a startup is looking for funding, we have access to more than 200 investors, VCs, family offices, which we can plug them into. On the media and PR side, when a business comes to the region here, it's important to build trust. How we build trust is in multiple ways, but it's about creating the right narrative. It's about ending up in front of the right eyeballs, either through a KOL strategy or through a very strong PR strategy. So we have some of the best people in our industry that we brought in that help with the PR. We also have very strong partnerships with companies like Cointelegraph, Being Crypto, these guys. And we have access to, I think, more than 300-400 KOLs that are very strong. And then we have something called deal flow, which it's easier to understand it if I use the term matchmaking.
Okay.
So when a business comes here, if it's a tokenization project, they want to speak with the real estate companies. They want to speak to luxury brands. They want to speak to X, Y, and Z. That's where we come in and we support that matchmaking through our network connections. Or if they want to access, funding, we matchmake them. Or if they want to access media flow, we matchmake them. So the matchmaking is one part of it. And last but not least is, because we do all these multiple things, regulation, funding, business deals, matchmaking, we can really understand businesses in a whole different way because we have a 360 degree of the industry. We have a 360 degree of how you use different tools to grow. So we kind of take that and put a wrapper around it. And that's the catalyst, the growth that we bring for businesses.
Okay. Now, let's just talk. This is something related to what you just said about what kind of company you work with. So, there's hundreds, thousands of startups in Web3 every day. And there's also big protocols. There is like Web2, Web3 companies, hybrids, So let's talk about the strategy. Are you focusing more on early stage projects, big protocols, big exchange? What is the energy going right now?
Look, we're definitely, a priority for us is to bring in the big chains and the exchanges. So, we've had really positive conversations with Binance, with OKX, with BitGet. We onboarded Bitpanda very recently. We have onboarded PSG Labs as a partner to us. We're also working with some of the chains. Avalanche and Solana have joined the ecosystem. We also have OTCs like Fuse and some other guys. So we're really creating like a full ecosystem where for us, many ecosystems here in the UAE, they focus more on incorporating businesses. And when you incorporate with them, you get part of that ecosystem. For us, it's not about the incorporation. We don't really care. You can incorporate anywhere you want, and we can help you if you want. But our goal is to connect the right people with each other and have an ecosystem that fills all the gaps for your needs.
Okay, and talking about big players, so there's a lot of big players in the crypto infrastructure space right now, like Polygon Village, Outlier Venture, even Binance Labs. Now, do you see them as a competition, or are you playing a different game to work with them?
Look, we don't see anyone as competition. And that might sound a little bit cocky and arrogant, but we honestly, we don't have competition because we do our own thing anyways. And I believe that everyone fills a certain role in the overall space. The crypto space is so big. The virtual asset space is just growing day by day, and no one can cater to the whole industry. Not even us. Not yet.
Not yet.
So for us, we play a very important role, and that is to enable companies in the UAE to succeed. Binance plays a role because they want to enable companies to succeed in the Binance ecosystem.
Yeah.
The MCC plays a role because they want to enable companies to succeed in the MCC, and especially with commodities. So everyone plays a different role in this space, but we are here to not take away business from anyone, but rather we see it as a growing pie.
I like it. I like that. Now, let's go into something that you did. Well, you're doing really well. You said the last year that you got the VARA license. Well, Farbo, the founder of the blog, got it in his time record and then create the framework, And then you have this case of a study recently. You said it from 3 months, it only took 1 month, which is incredible. So, but a lot of people talk about being different regions. I'm not only talking about UAE, regulator friendly, but then run the other way when the real rules show up and they're trying to get somewhere. How the blog actually working with regulators, and what have you learned from that?
Look, what I have learned is that in the UAE, the regulators operate very differently from other places in the world. But at least from my knowledge, I feel like the regulators here are actually listening to the industry. They invite the industry for roundtable discussions. They invite the industry for opinions. They really take their time to understand the space and get also feedback from the players in the space, right? Because if there's no feedback loop and if you just push out regulation, you're going to get a lot of pushback. But we've been in conversations with VARA where we have been giving our ideas on, let's say, RWA tokenization. And RWA, for those who don't know, is real world asset tokenization. So that is a very, very refreshing thing to see here in the UAE. And I believe that regulation is good, because without regulation is the wild, wild west. Anyone can do anything. There needs to be some sort of regulation. And I know people in Web3 are kind of opposed to that because it's supposed to be decentralized and unregulated. But when you have that decentralized, unregulated things happening, you also have a lot of people doing scams, running off with people's money and not being held accountable. And that's what we want to stop.
I think it's something that happened, obviously, the last 3 months, in my opinion. It was Trump becoming the president of the US. It helped a lot to people understand that people need to work with regulators. When regulators are helpful, let's say Trump administration, no Biden administration, it's easy to work with them. And I, including myself, I was quite fed up with regulation worldwide. The only country was helping was UAE. But then I was losing hope. But when President Trump came on power and then he started to make those changes really fast, I think so everybody start to have more hope and start to understand that they need to work with regulators. And then, for example, you have Bitcoin Vegas coming in 2 weeks. All the Eric Trump, Donald Trump Jr., the vice president, like 10 senators are going to be there in a Bitcoin conference. It's insane. But also something that happened yesterday. So we saw the President Trump visiting the region, so he went to Qatar, Saudi, and now he came just to UAE, and all the countries they want to invest in US, which is insane. So I think it's also kind of a business political agenda and trying to be more proactive toward not only crypto blockchain adoption, but also another business. But now I'm going back to the UAE, because UAE is so trendy right now. When you go any country, you say, I live in Dubai, you say, wow, amazing. So people start to understand that Dubai is a brand now. And that's why the rulers and the sheikhs create Dubai as a brand. But what do you build this in Dubai? It's not just because it's trending, or what makes this city the right place for a structure like the block? Why not Abu Dhabi? Why not Singapore? Why not Miami?
The reason why we chose Dubai was because we were hearing that a lot of people from Europe were coming to set up their business in the UAE. Everyone was talking about the UAE. Everyone was talking about, I'm going to do my project in Dubai. And that kind of ignited an idea with Farbo that, UAE is interesting. Let me explore to set up my own business. And that's kind of how everything started out here. But I've been here for 9 years. I have seen how this place has shifted from initially it was a bit, back in 2021, it was a little bit, crypto was still not taken very seriously. There was a lot of hubs and ecosystems. Some of them did well, some of them failed. But now we're seeing this new wave of companies and ideas and products being built in a very serious way. Not to say that the US will not succeed, but with the US, you only have a 3 to 4 year view.
Yes, you're right.
On how the regulation and what it will look like. Here, you know that the government is not changing,
Yes.
Here, you know that whatever decisions they make is a lot more long-term. It's not going to change.
And they're faster as well.
And they move very fast, right? So it's multiple things.
Okay. Now, you also mentioned, we were talking about credibility, about when you move here, you have to have the right actors, the right players. And also with, let's say, with ArtsDAO, you also educate thousands of people, and you become credible in the space, and that's why you ended up being the CEO of the blog. So credibility and education are key pillars. So what are you building here? Like, is this going to be to help Web3 builders to have more infrastructure for their companies to educate their users, or are you going to more for creating frameworks for technology? Is education or technology that you're helping these companies with the setting up of the licenses, the helping the raise? What is more important for you?
I would say both of them are important. And one of our big focuses as well is education. We have partnered with a few universities. Yesterday, we did a workshop with University of Nicosia,
nice,
where they were educating about legal frameworks for tokenization, and that was very cool. And that was the first event that we had done with the university, and we have onboarded a few more. So this coming year, a lot of focus will be on educating people about different topics within the virtual asset space that we believe they will find interesting, and certify people, because one of the things is as well, there's a talent lack in our industry. We need to onboard more university students to learn about these concepts, certify them so that they can more easily enter into our space. The other thing is, when it comes to technology, we're not a technology provider. But what we're really good at is Farbod himself. He comes from a tech background. He had a software development business for more than 20 years and still has it. So when we speak tech to people, we know what we're talking about. We know how to plug them in with the right partners to make sure that their project is successful from a technical point of view.
Okay, now let's go more deep technical right now. And are you going to integrate with protocols, wallets, compliance tools? Are you building your own tech or partnering? Like how you see in the future? Because obviously you want to help to set protocols and technical suites, but also would you, as the blog, will be part of it to help integrate in a technical level all these companies that you are helping?
So we don't participate in the tech development per se. So let's say you, Andres, you would have a company that want to do compliance for companies in the UAE that are licensed, as an example. So we would help you to connect with the right providers to do the automated AML, KYC, all this either on-chain or off-chain. We would plug in with the right custodians if there's any funds being transferred that you want to custody. We would plug in with the right intelligence, crypto intelligence agencies, or let's say companies that analyzes on-chain what is happening to avoid fraud, scams, etc. So those connections we have, and we bring them to you. But we don't do the project management ourselves. That's up to you.
Yeah, it's good to ask. You never know. It's good to ask. Now, talking about focusing, obviously you are helping in that part, but you're not going to do it for the companies. What the blog focus on right now, like this month or the next 3 months? What's the mission? What are you focusing from here, let's say, until September?
So before September, our goal is to open our spaces. They're currently under construction. It's a beautifully, beautifully designed space in One Central. But before that, obviously, we want to make sure we fill the spaces. We already have more than 35 partners. And now we're really moving fast with our sales team to onboard new members into our ecosystem and into the chambers. So our goal for the next 3 months, because it gets a bit more quiet here in the region during summer, we're not going to be doing a lot of events, but rather we'll be focusing on bring more people in, so that once summer is over, when we kick off, we're going to be doing a big 4-day opening event.
Okay.
And we want as many people to be part of that as possible.
And do you have a cap? Like you have until a certain number of members, and then
we will limit it. So we're also currently, in a way, exclusive in the sense that we assess the companies that we are bringing on board. We don't bring on board anyone. They need to fill certain criterias, and that is to make sure that it's a very strong and good hub for companies, that the quality of companies that come in, it doesn't matter if you're a startup or if you're mid-sized, but the quality should be good, right? And that's something that we have a way to analyze that, and analyze the risk of bringing in a certain partner, because we need to make sure that we have a very clean ecosystem.
And talking about that, let's say, can you explain people that are watching this or listening to this and want to get part of the blog? Is there one membership, or is there a different one? How it works?
So we have a standard basic membership model where you pay a membership, you become a member of the chambers. That's your entry point.
So for anybody, it can be a content creator, founder of a company.
It has to be a company.
It has to be a company.
It has to be. We don't work with individuals yet.
Okay.
So it has to be a company. So that has to be your entry point. You pay an annual fee, you become a member.
Okay.
And once you're a member, then you can select other kind of journeys that you want to take within our ecosystem. If you want to focus on fundraising, that's a journey, and we have some packages for that.
Okay.
If you want to focus on media and PR, that's something that we can support you on. If you want to focus more on the deals and deal flow and projects, something that we can matchmake you with. If you want to focus more on, let's say, government access to government projects and government entities, that's separate, right? Or if you want to get your license, we have advisory services with our legal team to help you get your license with VARA or ADGM.
Just for license, okay. And now, is there any? Are you allowed to say who are you working at the moment? What are the brands that are part of the blog already?
Yeah, of course. So some of the brands that people may know is like brands like Avalanche, Solana, Bitpanda, Paris Saint-Germain, the football team. We did an event recently with Matchain and PSG Labs and Bitpanda. We have companies like Fuse. We have Crystal Intelligence, which is a very well-known on-chain intelligence company. So it's that's just a few. We have Realize, which is doing tokenization. We have a bunch of tokenization companies. We have Assetera, which is based out of Europe. That's the one that comes to my mind, but there's a bunch more.
There's a bunch. But also, this is something that people don't understand, especially in crypto. Or blockchain or startups. When people start a company, nobody believes in them because they probably don't see the vision or mission when it's too new. And especially in Web3, stuff moves really fast. You have companies that grow in 1 year, become unicorns, or in 2-3 months. Now, the blog is moving so fast. You did a really good presence in Token 2049. You did multiple events, from side events for celebration of the community, but also like more serious events like for compliance and VCs. Now, I just want the people to understand, like, you don't have, well, you have it. It's been built. The two, let's say headquarters, the headquarters underneath VARA lies in the same building, but also you have the one central community hub. And people, until they see in September, they will say, oh, maybe I won't do it, maybe, I don't know. But people don't believe until they see. I wanted just people to understand that probably by September will be too late to apply for the block. You will fill out so quick. And then when you go and see the office and everything is going to be integrating, and people is bringing deal flow, and people getting their VARA license, and people are getting PR and media, it will be too late. What would be the message for the people still like in the gray line that still, oh, maybe I'll do in August, maybe I'll do in October. Why maybe? For me, that it takes too long.
Look, for us, what we support businesses with is everything except like if you just there's two things, right? There's the physical aspect, which is the office spaces and the experience center, but everything else we do is what actually brings value to the businesses.
Yes.
But if they want to focus more on experiences and events, that place is also opening up, and we can do it in other venues until then. Now, why they should sign up now before September is because by then, as you mentioned, we will be full. And the reason why we will be full is because our team is limited, right? We're about 20 people in the team now, and we might grow with another 10 people, but we want to make sure that we bring as much the highest level of service to our existing clients. Which is why at some point we will pull the plug and say, sorry guys, you cannot enter anymore. Or
you have to wait 1 year.
Or you have to wait until someone drops out, or we increase the size of the team. And the Web3 space is moving so fast, and there's so many opportunities right now that people, if I was in their shoes, I wouldn't want to miss out on.
Now, I have a final question for you. You became the CEO of the blog. What is the biggest lesson to become the CEO of this massive ecosystem, partner up with the biggest Web3 companies? Did you think this in any moment in your life back in 2016 when you entered the crypto space that you will be in the epicenter of this company that's going to help so many people and so many, basically you are helping the new generation of companies to move here and doing the right way. How you feel now that you are the CEO?
Look, I feel great. It's a great role and it's a great responsibility. We have a huge mission ahead of us, and our mission is not just to, grow the UAE ecosystem, but really make a dent in the global landscape for virtual assets. We believe that, we're very much supportive of His Highness's vision for Dubai 2033, right? And part of that mission, a big important part of it, is digital transformation. And Web3 and AI makes a very important part of that digital transformation. And the reason why they have put this vision is to grow the overall GDP of the country, to transform different industries. So we are very strategically located to support with that. And we believe that by creating this chamber for virtual assets, the block, we're enabling that. So we're actually doing, in a way, a very big deed to this country. We believe, when we hope we're going to be able to achieve that. We have a very strong vision. Our vision is to grow beyond just the UAE. We want to set up in Saudi, we want to set up in the US, in Europe, in Asia. And this is just the start. This is just the beginning. And for me, this was a natural progression of what I had already done. And I never planned anything, right? It just happened, and life just happens. And I have no idea where we will be in 10 years. But with the speed we're moving at right now, and with the team that we have, I have no doubt that the block will become one of the biggest players in this space.
Danosch, thank you so much for coming to Crypto OGs, and thank you so much for giving all the insights about the blog. And I hope to see you again in another episode of the blog, or with the partners of the blog and Crypto OGs. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Andres.
And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Maybe the next one will be from the blog.
Absolutely.
Take care. Bye-bye.